Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and I want to start this video off with a simple question. Do you dislike people that harm children? Okay, I don't want to get a massive dissertation in the comment section below. It's a simple yes or no question, okay? Now I'm going to predict that 99.9% of the responses will probably be yeah, and I'm sure there's probably going to be some no's, and if you're going to be one of those no's, then I honestly really don't want to know. Now, I think that Roblox is actually protecting predators, okay? I personally believe that Roblox is at this junction where they're doing everything that they can to just not try and stop bad people. Now, about a month ago, I looked at, a situation regarding a controversial creator on Roblox, Teddy, for instance. Everybody called him out, content creators, developers, tons of people, and it took literally all of the teeth being pulled out of Roblox's mouth for them to even respond or react to a situation that they should have done within like 5 minutes if they had any foresight of like public relationships. Now, of course, one of the things about Roblox is even back in like 2024, Bloomberg did an actual investigation. And, they were saying that since 2018, police in the United States have arrested at least 24 people accused of abducting or abusing victims they met or groomed using Roblox. Now, Roblox is a very popular online game. A lot of it is powered by UGC. I don't have to explain it necessarily to you. You can go there, make an account, connect to a ton of video games that people create and, upload, games that make tons of money, games that allow you to interact with children and adults alike, and games that, ultimately have a lot of bad people infested into them. And there's a whole side of games called condos, where people go into these condominium projects inside the game and decide to have like okay, it's a really gross situation. Now, the reason I'm talking about this video today is one YouTube channel, Schlep, for instance, for anybody that doesn't know, has pretty much made a massive career on trying to stop Discord predators. So, for instance, his entire thing is finding some of the most disgusting people on the internet, on Roblox, basically, doing this whole, predator sting where they basically get chat logs from these users. And then, of course, ultimately, at the end, once these users are trying to groom the decoy that Schlep has placed, Schlep will work with creators like Gideon. And Gideon will find these people in reality. Now, the reason I can show you this footage, and it being available on YouTube, is due to the fact that at some point, law enforcement agencies are present. In fact, this kid is sitting in the back of a squad car. You can visibly see, Gideon interfacing with this guy. You can visibly also see law enforcement agencies in this video. And that's the important part. They work with cops. I'm not even saying, the reason I'm showing you this is Schlep is working with law enforcement agencies. This ain't like the other predator hunters that I actually despise on the platform. I talked about this probably like a year ago, but there's a lot of people that hunt predators on the internet, and usually for them it involves a lot of physical violence, which I fucking hate because obviously people are like, I love seeing a predator get their ass beat. You know what I hate the most is when you do a physical assault on somebody and you don't follow the rules of the law. You actually ruin cases. What happens is that predator can probably get away with whatever crime that they allegedly were committing just because you decided for YouTube clicks that you were gonna fucking beat the shit out of somebody on camera. And now they've got an assault charge to go on you. They can basically walk away from a pretty heinous crime scot-free. So this is a situation where law enforcement is involved, Schlep is involved, Gideon is involved, the investigators are involved, but Roblox chooses not to. I actually reached out to Schlep to ask him if Roblox ever communicated with him since his videos started to get any form of popularity. They have never attempted to work with me. I actually made it super clear in my videos I'd be willing to handle a lot of stuff privately if they gave me a line. Well, they did in fact give him a line. They gave him a full legal cease and desist, which is why I think Roblox is actually more interested in protecting the predators. Remember, this guy worked with law enforcement. This guy worked to stop really bad behavior on the site because he's actually quite passionate about Roblox. This wasn't somebody that just started their channel a year ago and was uploading Roblox predator stings. It's just a shame that he's turned, hunting disgusting people on one platform into basically a career. Something that shouldn't happen. Roblox should be taking care of their site, but they don't. So for instance, this cease and desist right here, which we'll read, we write on behalf of Roblox Corporation, so obviously they're lawyers. This letter serves as a formal cease and desist notice regarding your unauthorized and harmful activities on the Roblox platform. Your actions are a violation of Roblox's policies and directly undermine Roblox's safety efforts. So the actual points they listed were engaging in simulated child endangerment conversations. So I assume for his videos, for the artistic flair, having, some, conversations being done between each other in a simulated fashion. I guess that's not okay, all right? So whatever. Maybe we'll stick to After Effects and just like adding in chat logs. Sharing or soliciting personally identifiable information. So obviously you would need to share some PII with a with a sting target, if you will, right? Like to get them to come to a public location, I would imagine, or to understand what their name is even. Directing users to move conversations off platform. And this is really important, right? A lot of the grooming that happens on Roblox, and I've talked about this before, it starts on Roblox, but it very quickly shifts to Discord. And it's not uncommon. There's other platforms, even right here on YouTube, you'll find disgusting comment bots that move their conversations off to Discord. Now, one thing that I have no understanding of here is, I don't know why, if this is so provable, which we'll actually find out later through a court case that I'll read, if Discord, if this is a verifiable connection, why can't Roblox work with Discord? I'm sure that they do, but this kind of happens to an insane degree. I really do feel like there needs to be some quicker action between these two platforms, especially considering how proven it is to work. Roblox is committed to aggressively combating illegal and harmful content, including child exploitation. So then they mixed like this whole boilerplate of them working with the NCMEC and the fucking FBI. Like, obviously we expect you to, right? It's not like they're gonna say, yeah, we don't even talk to the cops. We just let that shit happen like no tomorrow. So while Roblox acknowledges that your stated intentions may be to protect children, maybe, the guy's gotten fucking arrests. What are you talking about? And while it recognizes the serious nature of online predatory behavior, your methods, including failing to immediately report suspicious activity to Roblox through proper channels, well, like the report button, yeah, man, I'm sure that did wonders, didn't it? Are actively interfering with Roblox's established safety protocols and critically are exposing Roblox users to increased risk. Accordingly, and pursuant to Roblox's policies, Roblox will be closing your account, so he's not necessarily allowed to make new accounts. He's completely blocked off of Roblox, okay? He's gone. It's fucking Jover at this point. And I don't even doubt that with me going hard on Roblox, they'd probably give the same ban to me if they wanted to. Now, some of the rules that he broke actually blew my mind too. Roblox has implemented some new features into their actual, like, how Roblox partners with law enforcement. Now, one of the things that they talked about were vigilante groups. Law enforcement professionals are best positioned to investigate potential crimes. Unfortunately, there are cases of vigilante groups or individuals violating our policies to entrap users and otherwise self-police the platform. While these groups may appear to have the public's interests at heart, they are in fact acting in ways that could be harmful to children, both on or off our platform. For example, their efforts may leave bad actors on the platform longer simply to create more sensationalized social media content. Actions taken by vigilante groups increase the risk of more users being exposed to bad actors and can delay enforcement efforts by both Roblox and law enforcement. So their idea is, obviously there are channels that are getting a shit ton of views, 913,000 views on the video I just showed you. That is obviously not good for them, okay? It doesn't look good. In fact, it's funny that when you look up Roblox in the news cycle right now, you'll only see Roblox doing good, like rolling out this AI system to protect kids in chat rooms, but you'll never see this controversy, even though it's absolutely trended quite seriously within the Roblox community. The only thing that brings up a lot of this spooky shit is actually Hindenburg research that we saw on October 9, 2024. So aside from all of that, It's just good and it's just good. It's just good publicity. They're just talking about Roblox growing as a business. Now, when I asked Schlep about the process in regards to tracking these people down and seeing just how close it is to working with law enforcement, this is kind of what was said. So typically they tell these predators we're an hour or two away from them so that we can get them in a county that will prosecute them the best. Because again, the way the law works is you kind of have different county laws, and you have to basically work with the best DAs. You have to work with the best legal system when it comes to prosecuting individuals like this. Not all legal systems, especially in the United States, are the same. So they show up to the location. Depending on if we've worked in the area before, we'll either call before or during the catch. And then the cops show up. We'll show them all the chat logs, gameplay, and audio, and they have probable cause to arrest them. And according to him, only 1 out of the 7 predator confrontations have not resulted in an arrest. And that pretty much boils down to, like I said, that justice system not always being great. That case in particular, the predator sent nudes, which is a crime that you can get arrests typically on that alone. So he works with organizations like EDP Watch and Predator Poachers. Multiple of our cases are in trial right now, and here's an actual statement from law enforcement regarding one of our arrests, where they say they're glad when civilians present them with stuff like this. So according to the Hanford Police Department, they are always grateful for information from the public that leads to an arrest, especially involving serious crimes of this nature. So again, even law enforcement agencies can appreciate the fact that this stuff happens, especially on an ever-evolving internet climate. The thing about what's happening with Roblox, and one of the reasons why I think that they actually don't really care about children, and, because ultimately all of these actions and targeting an individual that has arguably done more, I would say, to raise awareness to a pretty serious issue on your platform than even opposed to the paid moderators, it seems, right? Roblox is the kind of organization where, like, a few weeks ago they were talking about, or at least the CEO was talking about how they were going to bring dating into Roblox. The CEO of the company, David Baszucki, actually went on a podcast and said, I think a lot of people are too afraid to go on a real-life date. Might find it easier to have a virtual date to start, and then if they connect, maybe move it to the physical world. I think David Baszucki doesn't realize that the average Roblox user is still wiping embryonic fluid off of their fucking body. What do you mean introduce dating to a platform that is primarily targeted towards children? Seriously, find me an actual adult that isn't making a bag playing Roblox. I guarantee you it's not a lot, okay? There's probably adults playing the game. There's probably healthy adults playing the game. There's also probably adults playing the game so they can find some underage children. It's mostly a platform for the children, okay? It's a game that appeals to kids. What do you mean bring dating into a story? Now don't worry, he also said that the platform is for users who are 21 and older and ID verified. Now, the thing about it is, obviously the CEO, I think, for this company needs to be changed, okay? I think the CEO is probably the biggest problem. There's the simplest fix that I think could apply to this, where, and again, this might destroy the metrics for, Roblox, which is, how they bill to advertisers and investors for money. But if you're going to have a platform where there's intermixing of minors and adults, maybe it's more ideal that if you have an account that is not ID verified or facial verified or verified to be an adult, and I think the most effective way probably is through like a credit card purchase or something of that nature. Again, age verification is a tricky minefield to go down, and I'm not prepared to answer a definitive, question for that. But I would say if you're a child account that is not verified, you probably should not be playing with verified adult accounts, right? You probably should also never have access to chat features. You probably should never even have access to emoting other people. You probably should be completely devoid of any social ability on Roblox. Because generally speaking, if, we're going by how this stuff works, it starts with Roblox, moves very quickly to Discord, and once people get to the Discord cloud, things completely just go full degenerate over there. Now, the thing is, that to me seems like a pretty relatively easy fix, or at least something they could implement right now. But they don't. They really will not do it. They have not done it for years. And they've done it, they have not done it to the point where they are getting sued by actual minors now. So according to this lawsuit, John Doe, a next friend of minor plaintiff Jane Doe, brings this action against Roblox and Discord. So again, it's a verifiable connection. So they want to talk about damages that they received because, again, they want to hold Roblox and Discord accountable for recklessly and deceptively operating businesses in a way that led to exploitation of these plaintiffs. The heinous acts against the plaintiff were committed by a dangerous predator whose actions were possible only because of egregiously tortious conduct of the defendants, meaning that they weren't doing enough to stop this behavior. So through their pervasive patterns of misrepresentation about safety, defendants portray their apps as safe and appropriate places for children to play. In reality, the defendants well know the design of their apps makes children easy prey, and defendants had no appropriate safeguards to ensure that children were in fact safe or that preds were screened. There are steps the defendants could have taken to protect children and to make their app safer, but time and time again, defendants have refused to invest in basic safety features to protect against exactly the kind of exploitation that plaintiffs have suffered. And Roblox isn't small potatoes. It's one of the largest gaming companies out there in the world right now. The fact that people can defend them and say, oh, how are they supposed to, bro, they're one of the biggest companies. They can easily find a way. This is a situation that I'm sure is not new to other online games. I'm sure there's probably groomers on Fortnite. I'm sure there's probably groomers on other UGC style games. But it's really the Roblox where we hear about it the most. So they mentioned that until November 2024, Roblox configured its apps to default to settings that allowed adults to easily communicate with children. Adult strangers could friend and chat with a child of any age via direct message. Further, even without being friends, adults could also chat with a child of any age within a Roblox experience through DMs. So now, under Roblox's default settings, adults cannot directly message children under 13. But Roblox still does nothing to prevent children this young from creating accounts with fake 13+ birth dates, giving them full access to Roblox's direct messaging options. Because obviously, I'm sure, like all of us, my age specifically, anytime we signed up for a website, I'm sure we always entered a fake birthday to make us look 80 years old so we could bypass any age gate. But obviously, I'm not saying that Roblox, you can't give some leeway, but Roblox, being one of the big companies, should find a way to verify these children are actually children. Or again, restrict these social services to the point where verification might be required. Like, yeah, you can play the game, but you just can't communicate to other players until you've actually verified yourself. I think that's kind of a fair compromise, right? Look, I'll let you read that lawsuit for yourself. It's a pretty lengthy read, but it does go into a lot of issues that Roblox has had and still has to this day. But obviously, when entire countries like Turkey, for instance, are blocking Roblox just for possible abuse situations, that's something that needs to really be addressed. It's wild when entire countries are getting involved onto the circuit, and I really think it's a matter of time before the US government starts to really look into this. Now look, do I think that Roblox is out there protecting the predators? Honestly, with the actions they've taken against Schlep, I think that Roblox doesn't actually give a shit about the children. I'm not going to say that Roblox is like, the fucking little St. James Island of the digital space. I'm not going to say that Dave Bazooki is out there being the fucking, most illicit, compromised individual. I just think that they literally do not care about these children. They don't care about what happens to them. As long as the bottom line remains unaffected, as long as they become the next big metaverse platform, I really don't think they give a shit about these children. And I think that's a shame too. I really think if you're a parent, and you don't have to be a parent to be, a little bit outraged by this. I'm sure a lot of you guys have a younger brother, a younger sister, someone in your family, someone in your circle that you really care about, right? I think everybody, most people care about, children in some capacity. And ultimately, you don't have to be a parent to really realize that, hey, this is a game that you should probably keep your kids away from if you don't want them to interact with incredibly unsavory, dangerous individuals on the internet. Look, I could understand one thing if maybe Schlep was proven to fake these recordings or fake these captures and just make the platform look worse than it actually is. But the fact that he's actually hunting these people down through the use of law enforcement and other content creators and actually getting what appears to be arrests and hopefully down the road verifiable convictions is a much different story. He's doing more effort than I see the Roblox team doing. And for him to get completely punished and threatened with legal action is just shocking to see. Ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mudahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it, I am out.